up, guys? This is Max here at MaksWerks. We're down in the garage working on the KTM today. So last weekend I went with a great bunch of guys. We did some trail riding and got the KTM, first a little bit of mud action, and it was great, except I realized that I was slowing down the group because on the tight single track I was having serious overheating issues. So the way KTM does their bikes, almost all the bikes come with a connection or a fan from the factory. Unfortunately, the SX, which is the race bike, is the only one that doesn't. If you have an MXC or an EXC, the bottom of your right-hand radiator is going to either have a bung or it's going to have a bung and a temperature sensor in it already that triggers your fan. If you have an EXC or MXC radiator on that side, you can simply fit a temperature switch from like a BMW E30 or the KTM OEM one, and basically run a fan from the battery to that and just use that temperature switch to turn on and off. If you have an SX like I do, you have another option. You can spend $160, and TrailTech makes a beautiful kit that basically bolts on, has a little computer screen where you can, a little LCD where you can adjust the temperature, and has a little copper probe that goes between the fins. Unfortunately, that's like $160, which is a lot of money to spend on what's basically just a fan, just a computer fan. So I obviously thought about it and then decided I wanted to do my own thing. After looking at it, I decided to just put it on a manual switch. So I went to my local Fry's and I picked up one of these guys, actually on sale for about $5. This is a 120 millimeter by 25 millimeter deep fan. It's just a standard computer fan, pushes about 40 CFM. And from what I read online, this should actually be enough to keep kind of some of my temperature woes in check. So we're actually going to be mounting it up. We're going to wire it up to the ignition and then to a separate manual switch on the side of the bike so that I can turn on and turn off as I need to. So it's not pulling too much current from the battery when I don't need it. So let's get started. So here you can see where the fan is mounted. And the reason I chose this fan, other than it was on sale for $5 at Fry's, was that it came with a very long cable, and it also comes with an adapter on it. But it comes with these rubber, basically shock absorbers on it. And I really like that. So the way this frame sits is we're actually going to tuck this rim right here between the shock absorber and the fan. The biggest issue is these ribs right here, because they really kind of get in the way. And what you can do is you can actually just hammer them flat if you want. But I think we're going to be able to work around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just mount it exactly like this. So it's just sitting right there. And we're going to be very careful in running our wires, but that should give us basically, let me see if I can spin it. As you can see, it's spinning without any interference. And I'm literally just going to zip tie it on here so that they can be easily removable. And because these aren't waterproof fans, having this junction up here is really useful, because if and when this fan burns out from power washing or going through creeks and stuff or whatever, no big deal. I unplug it, cut the zip ties, plug in a new one, and go. So this is what we have in terms of switches. This is just a single pole, single throw switch. Basically it has two poles over here, connects. This wire actually runs back to the main harness where it's connected to switched power. And this wire up here actually goes to the fan itself. The other side of this fan plug is grounded, and so what's happening is our switch is basically turning current to the fan on and off. So if I turn on the ignition to the bike and then flip the switch, you'll actually see that this fan has come on. And yes, this fan came with LEDs. I couldn't find a non-LED fan when I was looking. You could basically just jump them out, but I don't really see much of an issue with it. So I'll just let it go as it is. But you can actually feel it pumps up quite a bit of air, and what it's doing is, in this configuration, it's sucking air through the radiator, and it's going to help keep the bike cool. So there's kind of a visual shot of the final configuration, and right there you can see the switch on the side. So let's see if it actually works. So slight continuation for our E-fan story. Basically, the fan that you guys saw me put in, I mean, the system itself works fine, but basically the fan was struggling to keep the bike cool. It just wasn't flowing enough air, basically, to make it work. So I did some more searching online. I came across this. This is called the B Gears B Blaster 120. It's the exact same dimensions, but it pushes almost twice as much CFM as the other fan does. So, and this is the one that was recommended on some of the forums, like KTM Talk and stuff. So what I'm going to do is, because we designed it to be plug and play, we're actually going to be able to basically pull the bike apart and swap it out and see if it works. So I got the two fans set up here. This is an exact duplicate of what's on the bike. This is the new fan I got. And so I got this blue sheet of paper towel just to show you guys the difference in airflow. So if we hold this right here, hopefully you can just see that it's really not doing much. And this is on the high speed setting. If we put this over on the B gears, you can see that it's lifting and keeping the paper towel raised. So there's quite a bit more airflow coming over here. So now I'm going to swap it on the bike, and we're going to do a heat test real quick. So there we go. There's our new fan, and the cool thing is this actually wedges pretty tightly in here. So I might actually just thread this hole and use a bolt to secure this later. That way you can't move at all, because it's pretty well in there. And again, our plug and play harness worked just fine. All I got to do is zip tie these wires up, and we'll be good to go. For now, I ended up drilling small holes through here. This part is normally solid. If I move you around, you can see right there. I just used the small bit and drilled holes in 1, 2, 3 secure points to the radiator. We're going to zip tie up the wires and clean it up and then do a heat test. So here's a video. Down there you can see the fan running. It's able to hold the bike mostly in the low 200s. It's basically been creeping up pretty slowly, and today's a nice day, but it's definitely a lot better than the old fan was. So I would still say, if you have the space to put in the Trail Tech unit or an OEM unit, to go that direction, but this isn't a bad idea for about $25.